Here at BHP, we're winners. And all we want to do with all those profits is look after you. But those bloody union types keep getting in the way. They don't respect your rights. They don't even want to give you the right to avoid your family by working through Christmas. We do. What about all this other stuff about extra training and career planning? You don't want all that. We'll look after you. After all, we look after ourselves. Trust me.
It's not an Australian company, it's a global, faceless global giant. They treat the communities that they mine in very poorly. They just don't believe that their employees resent their approach. People don't take a decision to have a 7-day strike lightly, and the depth of feeling is shown by the numbers. BHP's proposal for an agreement went down by 92% in a company-run secret ballot, and the decision to go on strike was supported by 2,500 people to 2. So they're way out of touch.
3,500 BHP workers started fresh strikes overnight after discussions on working conditions broke down.
Almost 4,000 workers from across the Bowen Basin have gone on strike again. The CFMEU have accused BMA of going backwards in their negotiations with the union.
First tonight, the fight we had to have. That's the way a senior BHP executive has described the industrial dispute that's paralysing the company's Bowen Basin coal mines. PM has obtained an email in which BHP Billiton's coal chief executive Marcus Randolph warns that the battle with the unions is likely to get worse.
Yeah, how long have you lived here?
27 years.
What changes have you seen?
A lot. You know, it went from being a real tight-knit community and family-friendly place where family-friendly rosters and, you know, everyone got along. There was sports, there was everything here for the kids, and now it's fractured the town.
What's happening in Moranbah is at odds with the way BHP Billiton Chief Executive Marius Kloppers sees the role of his company.
We talk about socially conscious investors and
a view he outlined in this business seminar last October.
We want to create a more profound interlinkage with communities, engage those communities more in supplying our businesses, make sure that those communities benefit from our presence. Being transparent about this is our minimum standard, and we need affirmation by our communities that what we're doing is the right thing. We need affirmation.
Marius Kloppers is having a tough time selling that community line in Moranbah.
Being a BHP family used to mean you were looked after. This was a great town to live in. Now the company have more, but care less.
Now they want my husband to work longer hours and more shifts, and they even expect him to work over Christmas. It's just not fair.
Striking BHP miners and their wives have taken their fight to the mining giant's Melbourne headquarters, seeking a meeting with the company's chief executive.
Central Queensland coal miners and their families have stormed BHP's Melbourne headquarters in a bid to be heard.
Denise Robertson and members of her BHP Mining Families group tried several times to discuss the need for family-friendly housing with Kloppers.
They have here a boarding pass for Marius. For any airline at any date, for Marius Kloppers to come up to Central Queensland and see the impact that BHP is having on the mining communities there.
He has stated in the media before that, you know, that's what you need to do. You need to come to the community. You need to see firsthand the issues that are there. He's saying it. Come down and see us.
Queensland, Marius. Yeah, I want you to go to Central Queensland.
Now, the hunt is on.
Sorry, love, he can't see you today. He's in New York cutting wages. Yeah, he's gone to Rio to check out our profits. He's in London counting his money. He's in Melbourne. Nope, he's off again.
Where in the world is Marius Kloppers? One thing's for sure, he's not in Central Queensland.
This week, miners in Queensland's Bowen Basin will begin voting on a new enterprise agreement What are the key elements of this new agreement that you are most concerned about?
The ability of the company to have safety people or statutory people, OCs and EOZ controllers on staff when they've never have been in the past. They've always been union jobs.
An angry Stephen Smythe from the coal mining union, the CFMEU, today accused BHP of jeopardising worker safety, insisting in its negotiations that the new enterprise agreement include 15-hour shifts.
I think it's a disgrace, and I think, we have enough issues with fatigue both in the mines and on the road. This would lead to people's lives being put at risk, and it's just outrageous.
My name is Joanne Ufer. I lost my son Joshua in the recent Pike River mine disaster. It's been absolutely devastating for our family and friends. I have been deeply shocked by the evidence of negligence by management at the mine, and I never want any other family to have to go through what we have. Mine safety is a matter of life and death. It is just too important to be handed over just to management.
Making news this morning, mining union officials deny industrial action is the reason for a coal mine closure in Central Queensland. BHP says it's going to close its Norwich Park coal mine near Dysart.
It's not just bad for the workers, but what about for the town of Dysart, which basically exists to support the mine?
It will have a devastating effect on Dysart and those residents who will be left there for a whole range of reasons. Those mining communities have been suffering over the last number of years as mining companies like BHP have moved away from residential-based employment to commute-based employment. If potentially you take 400 families or workers and their families out of that community, it will go from a relatively thriving community to a community absolutely devastated.
Well, obviously we feel for the workers and the community, and hopefully your members can find some work from here. Thanks very much, Andrew.
Thanks very much.
But what's made the unions even angrier is a persistent rumour that the Norwich Park mine, which ceased production, is now about to reopen with contract labour, after its existing unionised workforce has been told to move on and have either been redeployed or made redundant.
These are mines that I worked in as a young man, the towns that I lived in as a young man, and the people who are working in those mines, living in those towns, are not going to accept the position which is being attempted to be imposed upon them by BHP.
My view is simply they want to de-unionise the coal mines that BHP run. There's no doubt about it, and this is a part of a 2020 vision or a broader strategy to de-unionise coal and to remove the union who they see as irrelevant and third-party interference.
We argue that we'll win this because right is on our side, not might on BHP's side. There are entitlements of workers and their families to decent work arrangements. This is not Angola or Ghana, this is Australia, and he'd better get used to it.